Okay, I am here with Trey the Explainer, and I wanted to talk about a big experience in my life that I have not shared publicly with people. Um, but it's a huge thing that I did about 13 or 14 years ago when I was younger, and it's fairly unique. Not in a global sense, but in a kind of like Western sense. To do this, it affects it's. I wanted to one of the re, I didn't hadn't told people publicly for a long time because for various reasons, because people react differently to the information, but also I didn't want to tell the information because until my book was out, my novel, and the experiences that I had in my life obviously affect my writing, and it affects what the character does in the book I released, the Dreams of Ghosts and Indians. But yeah, long story short, when I was a younger man, uh, I went on a religious pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. Um, and these are some pictures of my time when I did that. And I guess this is kind of like my public reveal that I did this when I was a younger man. Yeah,
Were you older or younger than me? Because I'm 25,
older
if you
than
mind me
you.
asking. Older than
I
me,
was
okay.
probably um, 32, 33 when I did it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'd been living in the Middle East for a while, and it's something that a lot of people like talk about, and it's this like this place that the Muslims around you that you talk to, they'll talk about it being this incredible place, and the Westerners, there's this allure to it because it's like, well, you're not allowed to go there. So like according to, it's a little complicated, but because there's actually nothing that bans the infidel from going to Mecca, but it commands people to keep the infidel out of Mecca. So there's a small nuance to that, but and then there's questions of like what is an infidel.
Mm,
Infidel is translated different ways. So there's this idea that an infidel is an atheist versus or a pagan worshiper versus, as they say, person of the book. A
yeah,
person of
yeah.
the book is considered a Jew, Christian, or Muslim as a person of the book, and there's very specific references in the Quran and in Hadith, which is accompanying um, uh,
The
advice.
sayings of the prophet, yeah, that kind of
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
Hadith is like, yes, sayings of the prophet that are written down on like chains of hearsay, and so different sects of Islam follow different hadith, um, but and believe different hadith. But the generally speaking, the Quran is pretty basic. But I mean, doesn't the Quran actually doesn't have that much in it, and most stuff that you think of being Muslim is from hadith. For example, there's nothing in the Quran about wearing hijabs. Um, there's nothing in the Quran about praying to Mecca. This is like it
Really?
says to
Dang,
pray
I
in the
didn't know
direction,
that.
but it doesn't say to pray to Mecca. And like, what's the direction? But Hadith then clarifies it. It says, no, we were talking about, in case you didn't know, we were talking about Mecca. Oh, okay. There's nothing in the Quran about how to pray that comes from Hadith, things like this. So,
And granted, like
um,
Christianity is like that too. Like
yeah,
there's so much added stuff, like the Trinity. Like when I talk to Christians and tell them that the Trinity was not like something originally believed, like that's not explicitly stated in the Bible, they're like, "What?" They're like, "That's not
right. Or
true."
like
I'm like, "No, no."
angels and like the concept of the devil, the modern concept of the devil and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, um, anyway, whatever. I think there was this concept that Westerners like to the Westerners that, oh, we're not allowed to go. So all of a sudden there's this desire to go, and so
Because isn't there that like
yeah,
that writer from this like an English guy that
Sir
like
Richard
impersonated
Francis
a Turk?
Burton. Sir Richard
Yeah,
Francis
yeah.
Burton wrote an account of his pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina, and I've read that many times his account and compared it to my own. A lot has changed since his account. There's certain things he kind of played up in his account, but he was very. Sir Richard Francis Burton might be the most interesting person to have ever lived. I mean, his life is crazy. But yes, one of the things he did is that he, like, pretending to be an Afghan, um, snuck into Mecca. And so here, I guess I snuck into Mecca, but there was a process to it. I mean, it's now that I've done it, I could probably talk somebody through it pretty easily. But it's essentially, if you have an Arabic last name, specifically a Muslim Arabic last name, you can pretty much get a visa to go to Saudi Arabia for a pilgrimage pretty easily. But if you don't, you have to have some sort of verification that you're a Muslim. And so you have to go and convert and get a document, something called a Shahada. There's 5 pillars of Islam, the 5 pillars of Islam. So your first one is Shahada, your proclamation that there is one God but God and Muhammad is his prophet, And then your others are Salat, which is prayer, alms to the poor, Ramadan, and Hajj. And so first thing you have to do is convert to Islam, which isn't as hard as you think, because people convert to Islam all the time to marry Muslim women, because it is forbidden for a Muslim woman to marry a non-Muslim man. Or, I mean, in the Quran, it's ambiguous if they're talking about people of the book or not, but it doesn't matter, because legally speaking, in these countries, they will not let you marry a Christian or an atheist or anyone. You have to convert to Islam. So if you move to Egypt or Jordan or Syria or the West Bank or most countries in the Middle East, I think Tunisia has free marriage, but in most countries in the Middle East, if you want to marry a woman, if you meet a woman and fall in love, to marry her, you will have to convert to Islam. Sometimes they call this capture, because they're like, "Oh, it's great! It's great that you're marrying an outsider. You're capturing someone and converting them to Islam." But I went to the Islamic Center in Cairo when I was living there, and they did not blink. They were just like, okay, yeah, here's your form, and you fill it out. And they're like, congratulations, Mabruk, you're a Muslim. Okay, that's it. And then I went to the Saudi embassy and went through a long process where they were like, oh, this weird American, and they call me in, and I sit in front of the consul general, and he's just smoking there, and there's all these women dressed in really skimpy outfits, and he's just like, yeah, you're a Muslim? I was like, yeah. Like, all right, Mabruk, boom, approved.
So you don't have to prove. There's not a test or anything. Like who is this and this year or something?
No.
Oh my gosh.
There's been other times in my life where I've gone into mosques where someone has stopped me and has said, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm going in to pray." And they're like, "Are you a Muslim?" And I'll be like, "Oh, alhamdulillah." And sometimes they'll be like, "What's the Fatiha?" Which is the first prayer of the Quran. If you know the Fatiha, no one is going to question you're a Muslim. But even if you don't know the Fatiha, they might be like, oh, what's say your Shahada. And you go, oh, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. There's one God but God, and Muhammad is his prophet. The Fatiha is a little tougher to remember. You have to be like Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabba Ma'adim, and then it goes and it starts breaking down. I've forgotten it over the years, but it's if you know those two things, no one's going to be like, you're not a Muslim. That's pretty think of it this way, it's pretty insulting to say to someone, you're not a believer in something that you're claiming to be, right? And so most people are they might be like, huh? What are you doing here? But once you're just like, oh no, I'm a Muslim. Okay. Well, all right. So that was it. And then you can't buy a ticket to, and once you have the visa, you can't buy a ticket without a tour group. So they have tour groups for pilgrimages. And so if you go during the specific month for Hajj, that's very expensive. Those tours are about $15,000 for 10 days. But if you go at any other time, it's called an umrah, and that is only about $1,500 a person. So I did an umrah, 10 days in Mecca and Medina. Yeah. So, and that was it. I mean, I made it sound simple. It was actually pretty complicated and nerve wracking to do all this, but like, so yeah, I got on a plane, Saudi Arabian Airlines in Cairo. You go out of a different terminal. They have a whole separate terminal for like religious pilgrimage people. And,
Oh, wow.
That's about it. You get on this plane. This is me getting on the plane here. Um, to and then we fly and we land. This is landing in I land in Medina. There's no airport in Mecca. There's an airport in Medina and there's an airport in Jeddah. And so I fly into Medina and I'm leaving out of Jeddah.
Hmm.
Jeddah is really, really close to Mecca, and so people joke about how like only a few miles from Mecca, there's like women in bikinis jet skiing around, which is,
Oh my god.
I suppose you can find that, but it would be on like a private resort kind of thing. But
Yeah.
so anyway, keep in mind this is younger me thinking various things are funny. So here, like, I land and this is the different like lines for immigration, and I saw like working women, and I thought that was funny, and I took a picture of it. It's nothing to it.
What does that mean? It just means that there's like a female.
So keep in mind that like the Middle East is, and if people are worried about infidels like coming into Mecca, thousands and thousands and millions of infidels go into Mecca constantly. Okay, because so the Gulf, like Saudis don't do most jobs. And in the Gulf,
Right.
in the other Gulf states, it's even worse. So like most labor is Indian, Pakistani, Filipino, Malay, uh, um, Burmese. And so they come in to do jobs. And so there's a lot of foreign workers arriving in Saudi. And I think this is just like, oh, you're a foreign worker woman, you're going to head this way. There's going to be a different
Okay.
processing line for you. That's about it.
But the translation's kind of funny to us.
The translation's
That's a
rather
different
funny, yeah.
Context. So.
Yeah. Not that there's plenty of sex workers in the Middle East. The sex work is very common in the Middle East. It's all over. It's relatively easy to get away with because if you wear a huge burqa covering your face, you can't be identified by the police. And so you just like you can walk the streets and in different plazas and people know, and stuff like that. So it's keep in mind that like wherever you are, there people want sex, and so people, there's usually a market. So then I land. This is the streets of Medina, and that is the Prophet's Mosque, which is the second largest mosque in the world. And so when we arrived, I landed, and this mosque is so bright at night that it just kind of like fills the whole city with its light, and it's really blinding. And so we arrived, and I went to the mosque. These towers that you see there are actually huge robotic umbrellas.
Oh my gosh, no way.
You'll see
I guess
later.
it gets really hot during the daytime.
Yeah, they're huge, enormous robotic umbrellas. And so you come here at night, and like people are hanging out, just chilling. It's a nice place to chill. Some people are praying. These dudes just arrived to sleep. They probably like don't have very much money, because keep in mind, like some people save their whole life for this trip, and they don't have any money like to actually do anything on the trip. They've saved it all for like the flight, because you got to do it once in your life.
Can you get an exemption if you're too poor to travel? Or
yeah. No? What's weird about the Quran and most people's like interpretation is the Quran is actually really loose when you actually read the words in the actual Quran. Hadith, not as much. But when you read the Quran, they're like, yeah, every year you should, or in your lifetime you should do the Hajj. But if you can't, that's cool. Like it's no worries if you can't. We just want you to honor God. Like it's the same with Ramadan. Like, yeah, fast for Ramadan for the month. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Like, we're not trying to make you suffer. We're trying to make you think about God. Like, that's literally what the Quran says. Like, it's real. But then the hadith or customs and practices will be a little more strict among people. But it's amazing
Hmm.
how open and loose that the actual Quran is. A lot of people have exemptions, but yeah, you can go to an alternative Hajj site, which exists all over the world. And if you're not rich enough, you're completely exempt. Yeah, you don't have to do it.
Oh, nice.
That's it. Um, these in the middle here. These are ablution, like bathrooms. You go in to wash and stuff. There's a lot of bathrooms and places for ablution.
Look at this. This is crazy. This is
Yeah,
like surreal with the lights and the giant umbrellas. Oh my God.
yeah. This just goes on and on and on and on. It's so big. It's so
Wow.
big. It's really awe-inspiring how large it is, and it's not big. It's not big enough. Like you'll see, like later, like it's so big. And keep in mind, I'm not going during Hajj season. This is an Umrah, right? I'm in low season, and you'll see
Oh
some of
my
these
God.
pictures later. So here I am as a young man with
Hey,
a
there you
yeah.
go.
I wore a button up and pants. I think we bought a Galabea there because once I arrived, I was like, oh, I want to fit in a little better. And so I haven't put it on yet, but this is when I first arrived. I was wearing like button
Did
down
did you go
pants.
with somebody else, or did you get like a
I went with
stranger to
somebody
take a
else.
picture?
Yes, I went with
Oh, cool.
An Egyptian friend of mine, and he used to live in Saudi, and he was a very devout man, and he um, used to love living in Saudi because he would go and do an Umrah and feel clean. He said,
Hmm.
and once he moved back to Egypt, he started a family, and he felt like all of the money that he earned needed to go to his daughters, and he didn't he felt like going to Saudi on his own, like, and spending the money that he needed to give to his daughters was not appropriate. And so he felt like he had this buildup of shame and guilt. And
Oh.
so I came up with this solution. I was like, I'm going to pay your way. If you go with me, I'll pay your way. And he's like, yes, please. And so he was happy to take me. And he was 100% convinced that I was going to become a real Muslim. Like when I saw the Kaaba.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's like my parents. It's like
Yeah.
my parents' Christmas service. It's gonna
Yeah.
be.
2025 is the year, Trey. um Oh yeah, I took
Oh,
a
look at
picture
that
of a
little guy.
cricket or something. Keep in mind, this is the days of like I'm taking pictures on like a digital camera. Like there's no phones, right?
Oh my God. So you can't. So yeah, you're right that you can't see what you even took a picture of, right? You got
Right.
to get developed at CVS or something.
Yeah, I mean, there might have been a small screen or something at the time, but you're just not taking as many and as easily, you know.
Yeah.
So you can see this woman looking at me like you're taking a picture of that locust. So here's the street. This is some kids playing soccer in the streets of Medina. Um, it's a lot of nice hotels around here, a lot of fancy cars in the downtown. This is Hardee's, you know, or maybe it's
They're
Carl's
loving it.
Jr. Uh,
Yeah,
no, it's Hardee's.
what's
It's
one with the
Hardee's. It's
star?
Hardee's. Yeah,
Who are these guys in chairs at the is that the parking lot?
yeah.
And
It's
they're
just
like,
parking attendants. Yeah, there's a
okay.
parking lot parking attendants, and that's a looks like a gold shop um, next to it. Gold is really big because Middle Easterners like to have a lot of their wealth in physical gold because of dowry. When you get married, it's
Hmm.
customary to give large amount of money to the bride. I guess that would be dower. You got to do dowry is the reverse. You would take money from them. Dower. So there's a KFC in the corner over there. Um, A lot of
Do
people
they have
just
the
sell.
image of the Colonel for KFC? Is it like, are they,
I think
is
it's
it
the same.
changed at all?
I think it's the same. I think they just have the kernel. I think they do have the kernel. So here's the umbrellas out, the robotic
Oh my
umbrellas.
God.
Yeah.
What? This looks like something in Dune. Oh
Yeah,
my
no, they're
gosh. I guess that
incredible. They're
makes
like
sense. Yeah.
they come out and they cloak the entire because it's so hot and so sunny. And
Oh
I'm
my
in this is
God.
like March. So um lots of women wear these vibrantly colored hijabs, because if they're on a tour group, they want to be able to find the rest of the people in the tour group who have similar colored
Mm.
hijabs. So you can see it's really, I mean, because Islam is like so international, you've got so many different types of Muslims. You're talking about, Indonesians and Moroccans and Afghans and Indians and Pakistani and like it's a they're all kind of there's a lot of fighting and infighting when they get there because it's like they all practice Islam differently and they sometimes
Mm.
get angry at each other like you're doing this, what are you doing that for, um
Do
but
like
yeah, it's
Iranians
just
pilgrim?
unreal,
Do
like
they?
it is like Dune, these huge robotic umbrellas.
It's crazy. Look at that.
Yeah. And then is inside the Prophet's mosque.
Oh,
And there's water jugs, these huge water jugs everywhere to try to get everybody hydrated. Like they do a lot to make sure that people don't die because it's um the ceiling here, all these water jugs that and this is the roof. No one's up here because it's just
it's
it's
too
so
hot. They're getting
hot.
nuked by the sun.
But at different
Oh my
times there's
God.
going to be people. But yeah. So this
The
green
scale.
dome is the dome over where Muhammad is buried. So or Muhammad's
Oh,
tomb. So the Prophet's mosque is a mosque centered around Muhammad's tomb in Medina. So Muhammad is buried in Medina. Um, weirdly, this memory is in my head forever. When I was young, a friend of mine would go to youth group. And so if I wanted to hang out with him, I would have to sometimes go to his youth group when I was like 13 or 14. So, and I remember like one of the youth group guys, like one of the leaders, who's only a little bit older, like, in his early 20s. I remember him ranting about Islam and saying like, you know, our religion, Christianity, is about a God that's alive. Like their God is dead. And I was like, and keep in mind, I'm like 13 or 14 at this point. And I'm like, pretty sure Muslims worship the same God. Like I'm like, and he's like, that's not true. That's why there's a tomb to Muhammad in Mecca. Of course, he had all this wrong because he was
Hmm.
assuming that Muslims thought of Muhammad the same way that Christians think of Jesus, and thought that they like that Muhammad was God, and like therefore he wouldn't have a it was like some sort of insult that he had a tomb. It's
Oh
really quite,
God.
yeah.
The last Christmas service I went to with my parents, they were bringing up that like no other religion has a God that comes back from the dead or something, and it's like that's just not true. I got so upset. I was like, or that there's like a virgin birth or something, and like that's just not true. Like there's tons you could go down the list, and oh my gosh, I
People
like
love that
stormed out.
shit.
Like there's no coming back from the dead. That's unique to Christianity. There's no other religion that has that. You're
Oh
like,
man.
come on. I know.
Okay. The let's see what else we got here. This is, yeah, just some pictures I took. This is the Prophet's Mosque Dome, which is a big deal. Like if so this green dome is quite iconic. Like if you see posters or blankets or artwork, um, they'll often have a green dome or a green dome and a Kaaba, to
Hmm.
symbolize Medina and Mecca. But this green dome is quite a common imagery. A Palestinian might have a gold dome, a green dome, and a Kaaba. Because they've got the Dome of the
Dome
Rock,
of the Rock.
the Dome of the
Yeah.
Rock model. Just some beautiful stuff saw, some pictures I took that I thought were artsy, like me taking this picture through this grate of the people praying. This is us
Oh my gosh.
coming in during prayer
This is the
time. Yeah.
off season?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Whew.
So they have mosques. I mean, Qurans for everyone. And this is people getting ready for the prayer. Men's toilet and car parking. People just leave their stuff here. These sacks.
And I guess people aren't gonna steal it, right? Like that's it's pretty
Yeah.
bad if you take something to the mosque.
Oh, it's strange that I think it says no photos, but everybody takes photos. Like this guy's taking a photo right there. I'm taking a photo. Yeah. And then,
So like is the prophet's body like busy, like are there bones? I guess you don't see them, but there's like a tomb with bones and stuff
you
in it.
don't see them, but they're supposedly in there. I mean, eventually we'll get to the tomb area, and it's interesting. It's also interesting compared to Sir Richard Francis Burton's account, but I'll get to we'll get to that when we get to
Okay.
Muhammad's body. I thought this was funny, like a Where's Waldo. This guy had this shirt, and I found Waldo in Medina. I think I got this guy. This guy's got henna in his beard. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. So supposedly I mean, you hear a lot of these stories of things Muhammad did, but supposedly Muhammad put henna in his beard to hide the gray. And so a lot of old men put henna in their beard to hide the gray. And it looks kind of nuclear orange, but
Yeah, he looks awesome. Look at that.
yeah. So then, yeah, this is, I think, hilarious because like you have got to take off your shoes before you go into the mosque. And it's just, sometimes there's just hundreds of like slippers where you're just like, how am I supposed to find my fucking shoes? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's just, I think later I have one of a dude like looking at a pile, just like, oh my God, I'm never going to find my fucking shoes.
I'm not going to find my shoes.
Yeah, like,
wait, let me close my door real quick. Oh.
Sure.
Sorry.
But you can see like they've shoved them in the holes of the decoration on the side, because all the cubby holes are full at this point. So you're just like,
Oh my gosh, this looks really claustrophobic.
Oh, it's super claustrophobic. And then, getting ready to pray, and you got the wheelchair guys in the back. They pray differently if you're in the wheelchair. So it's, you're a lot. It's again, if you're not capable of doing it, nobody blames you. You're just like, okay. You can see how different everybody is here. But this is their big kind of thing, is like when they pray, they feel a lot of brotherhood. Like they'll be like, oh, all these different people. And then during prayer, there's this moment of like incredible unity that they feel. But there's the ceiling again, some ceiling stuff. It's getting really crowded here. And then this line is really hilarious. There is a line that says here that this is the imam position. Don't cross this line when praying. If your prayer is ahead of this line, it's invalid. And you'll see that like later on, people are like, "Fuck that shit. There's not enough room." Like I don't believe you. Like they're just like, "I don't believe you. It's fine." But like, so here, like you can see, like there's the line, and everyone's just like, it's so crowded and so full that people are like, "Well, we're praying in front of the line." Like, like don't cross line. If otherwise, your salah will be void.
Who decides? A god decides that? He's just like, yeah, it doesn't count. It's over the line, man.
I know. So now keep in mind, if you're too far in front of the line, you're not under the umbrella anymore.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. And so you'll see some things coming up here as people start praying. A lot of people try to get in extra prayers before the official prayer.
Mm.
Um, but people are getting ready for the prayer. It's getting pretty crowded. The mosque is getting really crowded at this point.
Holy shoot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And remember, this is just enormous. It goes on, just football fields and football fields. It just goes on and on and on. And it's just packed with people near prayer time.
And is this every day, or is this just on a special day or something? Or
This isn't, yeah, this is like a Wednesday. This
oh
isn't
my
even
god.
Friday.
Oh my god. Jeez.
Yeah. This is like a
Those people in
regular
the
day.
sun. Oh my god.
And so now it's prayer time. And you can see like people are now in position, and this is me turning around outside of the mosque. The mosque is so full that now people are lined up outside, and they're still trying to maintain that line, even though like don't cross the line, and they just kind of keep going. So like some people are like, fuck it, I'm going in front of the line. And so and then some people are like, okay, I'm not going to go in front of the line, so I'm going to go out into the streets, blocks and blocks.
That the line hypothetically stretches all the way out there. So
Right. So you're outside.
valid
It's
now.
like, so what do you like? Which would you do? Do you want to be in the mosque ahead of the line, or do you want to be behind the line out of the mosque? that's your that's your choice. Medina is very much like a flea market. There's just all these people bringing in stuff to sell in these little like carts. They roll these carts out, and then boom, the prayer.
No, yeah.
And it's very very, I guess the gray granite's not going to be as hot, but the marble closer in is like insanely hot. And so you can see some people are like hovering their heads, like some people try to get it on their hands or on the rug, or they hover their forehead above the ground. But yeah, everyone at once. Oof. And so they love like the brotherhood of it all at this point. Like it's just, um, you can imagine. I mean, I think you've all experienced like being at a rock concert, and like that sort of like that rush you get of doing everything as a massive group.
Yeah, yeah. When you're headbanging or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, they were. And so that, and I think I took a picture of this. I was like, look, it's the Sex and the City girls. It's like four. So I was on the men's side clearly. So. It's still crowded. And then you can this is going over to the women's side, and you can see like women in different colored hijabs and such. And, gotta make sure that some of them match. So entrance for the women only. They have a much smaller area for them. It's certainly not equal. Generally speaking, like I like to say that like in many ways, guys in the Middle East will abuse the prayer thing, because they're like, oh, I need to get out of the house away from like the wife and kids, and so they'll be like, oh yeah, I got to go to the mosque and pray. Like it's always the excuse. Got to go to the mosque, and going to the mosque means hanging out with your bros. So it's like everybody gets to hang out with their bros every night. So like Middle Eastern guys, they lose their bro friends. Like your bro friends from college, like they still have them into like their 40s and 50s, because you can go to the mosque and hang out with your bros. Yeah, so here's women with their wheelchairs, and there's a lot of old and disabled people that go to try to do a pilgrimage to get their sins forgiven before they die.
Oh yeah.
They don't want them on them. Women's toilet, and
this guy.
yeah, or maybe I thought the African guys were interesting. Like these three these three African guys in like blue, red, and yellow shirt, all clearly the same like style shirt, bought at the same time, but
Yeah,
they
you're
like
right. Look at
coordinated
him.
their outfit. Um, this guy getting in some extra prayers over here, or maybe making up for some prayers. But it's just really crowded. And then you get outside and it's just this crowded flea market. There's another dude with some henna in his beard. And these are women selling shirts out right outside the mosque. Everybody, trying to get so because I so if you like when they do these vacations to Mecca and Medina, prayer takes up a lot of fucking time. It does, but it doesn't take enough time to fill the day, and so they shop with the rest of the time. It's not like there's bowling or anything like that going on. um, but yeah, this guy's selling scarves. This guy's selling some toys,
Oh
and
heck yeah, he's got Funko
yeah.
Pops.
But you can see all of these people rolling in. Most of these people selling stuff, the women that are dressed up, they're probably Sudanese or Somali. Saudi Arabia does get a lot of, they do have a lot of undocumented immigrants because people will sign up for a Hajj or an Umrah and then overstay their visa and don't want to go
Mm.
back. And so they're just living, you know. And so here's this guy's painting his truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This is getting outside of town. The houses, they're not as nice, but these people have air conditioning, whatever. But you can see it's like not everyone in Saudi Arabia is rich.
Mm.
And I love this picture. This guy
Look at this. Yeah.
took
Oh
a
no, did he
turn.
get stuck?
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, oh no.
Oh no, he took a turn like right off, didn't see the metal plates and went right. Yep, yep. And so this is me just walking out of town, going for a walk. The
This
mountains
just looks
outside
like
Medina.
Tucson. This looks like Arizona or something.
Yeah, kid selling water. Who knows where he's
Oh, nice.
from? But he's clearly an undocumented. Going into a shop. This is the mall where they're selling some hats. And this says the center is not responsible for the loss of valuables. So theft and pickpockets are really common in Saudi Arabia, even though it's death penalty, like for that kind of thing. It's people save their whole life to come, and so a lot of people have cash on them, and so
Oh,
pickpockets are very common and prey on the people. But here they're
that
like,
sucks.
yeah.
Did you get pickpocketed at all? You get anything stolen?
No, 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 no mess with me. Plus, you can buy you buy a money belt. Like they have a special money
Yeah.
belt. You're not supposed to have any clothing that has stitching. So they have these like special non-stitched money belts, and where it's like that you wear when you're with your in your um ihram, like your religious garb. I'll be in it later. You'll see me in my religious garb later, but. Um,
Why no stitching? Is that like a religious thing or is it
Yeah,
to
I'm
stop
not
like
sure. Somebody described it. Told me once. It was a long time ago, but there's some sort of idea that you're supposed to enter Mecca like you're a baby or something, and you're not supposed to have like traditional clothes on. I'm not sure of the exact wording of it and all. It's you sometimes hear different stories, but there was like a special money belt that I had to buy that was different. Um, it's very odd. Very odd. But I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about the like what it was. Because eventually the thing I wore, it's like a towel. I'm wearing like a bunch of towels, and I have to put it on in a certain way, and they snap on. Um, and there's like or maybe I wore mine like a towel. Other people snap on. But there's some reasons. I forgot. I'm sorry I can't answer that
No,
question.
you're good.
But here, yeah, these women, they're all covering their faces because again, I like they don't want to be identified because I think they're undocumented workers.
Oh,
Um, but these women are showing their faces, but you can see they're Sudanese. There's the Hardys and the KFC,
hell yeah.
and here is I think this is an Indonesian tour group that I thought was interesting. I took a picture of. Here's women selling some handbags and different um, Islamic hanging wall hangings, and we're coming on dusk, so they've taken down the umbrellas. It's quite beautiful, and but you can see it's just a market. And here's me and my
Yay.
yeah, growing out my beard, got some hair, um, and then but dusk comes, sunset in the Middle East. A lot of times, if there's dust in the air, it can be quite beautiful. The sky turns pink with like smog. Little boy reading the his Quran, and nighttime again. The nights. There's my companion, and this some other dude just got in the photo there. There's me
Like that
again.
guy. Oh, so
um,
you return to them? I guess you have to pray multiple times a day, right? So you return to the mosque?
yeah, I did not because I wanted to go for walks and see the city. I did not do every prayer. My companion tried to, but even he had trouble making every prayer. It's
Hmm.
especially the early morning ones. So when you stay in your hotel room, there is a speaker over your bed that blasts to wake you awake at the hotels. It's yeah. So it's really quite. It's so there was one night I just remember my companion was like it blasted. He's just like, like because they blasted twice. They blasted like at a wake up time, and then they blast it at the prayer time. So it's like it's like 5 in the morning kind of stuff. So but there I am, little tall for everybody. I got a lot of looks. Kids playing with toys. Them selling toys here in the middle of the night. This cheap shit. They're selling all this cheap shit outside the mosque.
This reminds me of Italy. In Italy, in
Oh
like
yeah,
the plazas, they'd just be selling like cheap, crappy toys, and kids will
right.
buy them.
Like
You're like,
the worst thing. Toys that are gonna break within 30 minutes. Um, the lots of clothing, and this so some stained glass. You come to the old area of the mosque because they've expanded the mosque. There was like an original
mm.
mosque, and then they expanded it. So you kind of come to the original mosque area, and you can see the stained glass, and then we're outside the Prophet's mosque here again at night. Now here is what we did. My companion, um, he really wanted to pray in front of Muhammad's tomb. Like he wanted to do this, but it was like it's impossible to get into the mosque and get that close. Like it's just so crowded. So we went to the back door, the exit. And there's guards here being like, no, this is exit only. This is exit only. And he goes up to the guards and he's like, my friend, I'm here with this foreigner from America, and I'm like he's a new Muslim, and I'm teaching him like Islam. Like it would mean the most to us if we could like come in the back door and like see Muhammad's tomb. And he played up this like guilt card on him, and he's Egyptian. He like knows how to bargain, right? So and we got in, right? And we're just
Oh,
like, oh. So here we are at prayer time at Muhammad's tomb. Now, Muhammad is buried here with his companions Omar and Abu Bakr and Usman and so according to Sir Richard Francis Burton's account, There was also a Fatima should have been was there according to Sir Richard Francis Burton, and that there was an empty tomb for Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, I did not see any empty tomb. I mean, or some of these could be empty tombs. I wasn't sure. There certainly was no Fatima, which is a big fucking deal. So, Fatima is beloved by Shia because she was the wife. Fatima is the daughter of Muhammad, and she is the husband of the sorry, the daughter of Muhammad and the spouse, the wife of Ali. And the Shia Sunni split happens largely because after Muhammad died, Omar and Abu Bakr are like, Muhammad's wealth as the prophet passes on to the caliph. Essentially, like, his wealth is the wealth of the state. And therefore, we should get it because, like, oh, I'm the caliph now, Omar. And Abu Bakr's like, I'm the caliph. And so they took all of the wealth. While Shias were like, no, it should go to Fatima and her husband Ali. And this, I mean, the split goes beyond this. There's tribal reasons why there was support and stuff like this for the different groups. But the Shia Sunni split is over this disagreement between
Mm.
Ali and Omar and Abu Bakr and Fatima. And so there's huge like stuff about this. So the fact that like Fatima's tomb is gone, like no one knows where Fatima's body is. The Saudi government
Huh.
like took it somewhere and no one fucking knows. No one knows. And
Wow.
um according to Sir Richard Francis Burton, when he came, Shias who hate Omar and Abu Bakr would like wipe their butt and then try to throw like rags of like shit onto the tombs
Oh
of
my
Omar and Abu
god.
Bakr. I mean, you don't know like what's true or not or what he's making up, but he like writes this in his account that like that there's this like rivalry between the tombs and whatever. And so um yeah, so
Dang. So
yeah.
so so Fatima's tomb did exist at one point in time, but has been removed through renovations or
Yeah,
something?
or at least according, I mean, at least according to the account of Sir Richard Francis Burton, Fatima's tomb was here, and
Wow.
it is no longer. When I was there, it's no longer there. And I've looked it up, and they're like, no, no one knows where Fatima's tomb is. It's like a big sticking point. Because keep in mind, like you'll see some things later, like the Wahhabis are fucking bonkers with regards to destruction of historical artifacts. It is insane the things they've destroyed. It is so sad the things that they've destroyed. Um, and it makes me weep in a historical sense, but it may, you know, it's so
Oh.
crazy. But oh my god.
I know
Um,
that there's did you encounter this? Like I remember reading somewhere that there's like a tomb of Eve or Adam or something like that, and it's like a giant, and it was like huge because they thought Adam or Eve was like a giant human that like took
huh.
up several buildings. It's like let me see if I can find it, but yeah, and
Okay,
I know
okay.
that that was destroyed at some point.
I mean, let me
Uh,
know if it's at Baka, but I'm not sure. Like,
Eve
but anyway,
tomb.
so here, this is everyone taking a picture of Muhammad's tomb, and everyone like there are men weeping here. This is like a really quite spiritual moment
Uh,
for a lot of these people. Like a lot of people are like breaking down and crying. This man is like singing. He's like this guy in this red hat here. He's like singing and breaking down and like that he's in front of
uh,
Muhammad's tomb. And this guy in this green, I think he's trying to pull him away. He's like one of the help people being like, dude, just get like move along, okay? Stop. Like, but like, yeah, this guy is like in front of Muhammad's tomb, like singing. It's crazy. And so
that's
everybody's
crazy. Yeah, I had it. Went to like a Denver Dock, which is outside of Tucson. It's an old Catholic from like 600s, and there was like a an old. I don't know if she was Mexican, maybe she was like Native American because it's on a reservation, but she was weeping, like really, really hysterically crying in there, and it was just like super unique experience because like I don't know, I grew up in like a Protestant ever Baptist church, and yeah, that you just didn't weep during like seeing things,
Yeah, you
but
just
not
didn't
like in
do that
that
sort of
way where
thing.
it's a complete quiet room. Yeah, yeah. Uh, oh,
Um.
here's Eve's tomb where I found the tomb of Eve. It's like this. It's in Jeddah apparently. It was in Jeddah.
Oh, okay, okay. I did not see it.
It was giant. It was big. It was like big. Like the view was that like Eve was like this like size of a building, and like she needed this like giant, I don't know, thing to house her body. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so here a lot of people are squatting because they know that like prayer is coming soon, and so they're just like sitting and waiting. And so here's my picture in front of Muhammad's tomb, and that tower there is when the imam comes out and like speaks, um, and then
Hmm.
just a lot of very very ornate. Most mosques are really simple inside, so it's really unusual to see these like really ornate mosques. Anyway, after call to prayer, um, we go out and we saw people going. So remember I said that the Saudis like destroyed a lot of things. There's something called Mecca
Hmm.
Cemetery, and let me see if I can find a good picture um, of it. Oh, Al Baqi Cemetery. Okay. So this is what it used to look like, this cemetery. It used to just have these and
Oh my
huge
gosh,
and yeah, huge enormous
that's
like
gorgeous.
tombs that just went on and on. Beautiful, beautiful tombs. Al Baqi Cemetery. So while we were inside
Wow.
listening to the prayer, they announced that a little girl died on her
Oh,
pilgrimage. And the thing is a lot of people purposely do their religious pilgrimage when they're dying, because if you die on your pilgrimage, one, like pff, instant heaven, but two, you get to be buried at Al Baqi, which is this incredibly um, famous cemetery, incredibly important cemetery, revered cemetery. This is like getting, how people want to be buried at um, Arlington National Cemetery, that kind of thing. So she died, and according to um, Islamic law, you have to be buried really fast, like within 2 days. And so their funeral
hmm.
for her was immediate. And we leave the mosque and we see that people are going into Al-Baqi. And so we kind of go up there and they're like, yeah, what are you doing? And it was this, like my companion did the same thing. He was like, I'm teaching this American, he's a new Muslim, and I'm teaching him about Islam. Like, please let us go in. And they let us in. And I went to this funeral in the middle of the night
Oh my
for this
gosh.
little girl. And it was crazy. It was crazy because one, like, how quick it was too. Because they just go in. Because when you have like 20 dudes and you're like, dig a hole, 20 dudes can dig a hole really fucking fast. Like, and so they just dug this hole, put in this body, and then it was buried. And then they kind of all
That's
shake
it?
hands like it's the end of a soccer game. And the father is there, and he's just like, they're all trying to like talk to him, and he's just like, he just inconsolable. He's just, I mean, obviously his daughter's died.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then they all leave. And it was like over like that. And all of a sudden, like, me and my companion are staring there, and like three other funeral crashers, like these three like Indian dudes, are like, okay, I guess we should go. And we're in the middle of the cemetery at night. It was like one of the craziest things that I'd ever seen.
That's crazy. And
Yeah.
they just bury the body in the ground. It's just there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, they were allowed to
Wow.
because she died on the pilgrimage, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
That's
but yeah.
crazy.
And then they just kind of give the finishing touches. And then we left and took a picture, took some more pictures of Medina. And then um, there's just, a lot of these gold shops for people. A lot of people do a honeymoon in Mecca and Medina, you know.
Hmm.
So, you get some gold for your dower and things like that. Justin Bieber cologne on sale here in Medina. Fancy Beamer in front of the hotel. Just a lot of more, just stuff for sale. People going to the mosque, just strip malls, just getting the feel of Medina. This is El Baki during the day.
Oh
That's
my
what the
gosh.
Wahhabis did to it.
Damn.
They fucking bulldozed it all. They destroyed it all. Because they thought
Wow.
having those tombs, those beautiful tombs, was idol worship.
That
I
sucks.
mean, look how fucking big it is.
Yeah.
They leveled it
It's just all
all.
dang.
It's one of the saddest fucking things. It's just so sad that they did that. It's so fucking sad. Just acres and acres of these beautiful historic tombs, ornate, all these different families that had like history of like burying their ancestors. These gone. Like all the like the lineages and like history of all these families gone, bulldozed. And each little stone, there's a stone for each grave, but the stone isn't marked. You don't even know like who's like the name
Oh,
of who's there. It's just like
oh.
the saddest thing.
Yeah.
And this guy was holding hands with his wife or girlfriend, and he's
Oh
wearing
my
like clam
gosh. Is
diggers.
he allowed to
Yeah, I
do that?
know. That's why I took a picture. I was like, "What?" I mean, two men holding hands. That's one thing. A man and a woman holding hands. Anyway, this is on the woman's side. People taking some pictures of the woman's side. Here's the back streets of Medina. You're getting the field of Medina. There's your Starbucks coffee.
Starbucks.
That's right outside. That's like right outside the mosque. There's a Starbucks like right
Wow.
outside the mosque. So you can get your Starbucks coffee. H&M right there.
Jim
You
Claire's?
can see there's the mosque. There's the Starbucks and the H&M.
And the Starbucks is right there.
Yeah,
It's kind of
that's the
like
weird
Rome.
thing,
Like Rome
man.
will have a McDonald's.
It's like they have such like the Wahhabis have this like piety where they're like, oh well, we got to get rid of the fucking like tombs, these historical tombs, but if you want to fucking build a Starbucks right next to the fucking mosque, go for it. Like, where's your fucking priorities? Like commercialism isn't a threat to the religion, but these old historical tombs are. Mm,
That's stupid.
yeah, yeah. Here is
Ooh.
a inside the KFC. So you have a segregated male ordering area and female ordering area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, male
And so are you
always.
served by a male and they're served by a female?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
the
yeah.
idea? Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh.
Yeah. I mean, not all places are that segregated, but like, I just thought this was first of all, I thought the inequality was also ridiculous. Like, why
They
is the
get
men's
so big
side
away.
twice as big as the women's side? But you'll find this a lot,
Yeah.
like the women's area at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, the mosque itself, like the area designated to the women is always minute compared to the area designated for the
You're
man.
so right that they could just move this in the middle and make it equal. It's just like it's totally arbitrary.
Their argument would be like, but the husbands are going who are ordering, like you put it in the middle, but then the women aren't using that side, so this is the most efficient way. They'd have an explanation, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, the women's side doesn't need to be as big because a lot of the women are home with the children. Okay, well. um ah This is another sad one. So a lot of Muslims, they have a favorite companion of the Prophet, and so my friend, his favorite companion was Hamza, and so he really wanted to go to Hamza's mosque. Most of the companions had a mosque built for them, um, and so we journeyed out to Hamza's mosque, and they bulldozed it.
Ugh.
Yeah, like my friend he was like nearly ready to cry. He was like he was just like oh, it's gone. Like, what? And it was like bulldozed. He used to go to it when he lived
So it
there.
was like
So
recently
yeah, it was
bulldozed.
bulldozed recently, like within the past few
Oh my
years
God.
of me being here. Yeah,
Dang.
yeah.
And now that it's just a gravel pit. That is
Mm-hmm.
so sad.
And so here he is in front of it. He was really sad actually.
Oh man.
But I got a picture in front of Hamza's mosque. So when you go to, so the Wahhabis believe that unless something is explicitly outlined in the Quran as part of your Hajj, that visiting it is haram. Visiting it is forbidden,
Mm.
which is a weird logic, right? That it's idol worship at this point. Like, oh, if you want to go to something else, if it's not in the Quran, then it's idol worship. And so here we go. It says here, because Hamza's mosque was built, I think it was built around Hamza's tomb. So it says, the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to teach his companions on visiting graveyards. And he would say, um, visiting graveyards for the purpose of remembering the hereafter, and due to the saying of the Prophet, I had forbidden you to visit the graveyard, but now you can visit them, as they surely remind you of the hereafter. It is not permissible to invoke the dead, nor seek assistance from them. And it is also not permissible to ask for intercession or provision of one's needs, and to rub one's hands or body over their graves in order to seek blessing. It is also not permissible. Resort to Allah alone to remove your afflictions and grant your needs. Allah the Excellent said, if Allah puts harm on you, no one can remove it except He. The Prophet may peace and blessings of Allah be said, if you are seeking for help, seek it from Allah. Don't climb the mountain. There's a mountain behind us. Or the mountain of the archers. In order to seek blessing, it is prohibited to take and carry any of the soil or stones. So essentially they're saying, like, okay, you can kind of understand their logic. Like, people are going to, like, you see this in movies all the time. Like, somebody goes to the gravesite and they're like, hey, Dad, just wanted to say hi. It's been really hard, for me and Tiffany on the farm or whatever. You see these scenes in movies all the time, right? Where he's kind of
Yeah.
talking to the dead, like he's talking to his dad, and they're seeing that kind of action, like talking to your ancestors, as haram, as idol worship. You should be asking things from God, not your ancestors, and so you can kind of get it, but at the same time, it's a little far to fucking bulldoze the fucking mosque.
Bulldoze it and then fence it off, and yeah, Hamza. I remember Hamza's the Prophet's uncle, right? Like
Yeah,
that's his. his
Mhm.
military, his fighting uncle. Yeah, that's crazy that they bulldozed his
Yeah.
mosque. Like,
And
it's
this
an
is what's
important figure.
also this is also kind of sad is because it's not considered like a good religious site. Now there's no money from the state to support it, so there's no
Oh,
upkeep here. And so when we go to the mountain behind us, which is over here, and you can see like people have come out to sell stuff because they know people keep visiting the Mountain of the Archers. So and it's remember they said explicitly for haram to climb it, and you can see people at the top. So we're gonna go climb it. And I climbed to the top of the mountain,
oh, you
and you can
climbed to the top of it too.
yeah, I mean, what's a mountain is really funny, but you can see like all the vandalism. The whole thing is
Oh
vandalized,
God.
like all over. The thing is vandalized because it's not considered an official site, you know.
Ugh.
But man, there it was. There was the mosque, and now it's just bulldozed
That's
site.
that's sad to know that it was like in recent memory, and your friend didn't even know that it was
Yeah,
gone.
he didn't.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's awful.
Um, where are we here? Is this the Mosque of the Two Directions? So there was a mosque. So prior to when I said like the Quran says to pray in the direction wasn't always Mecca. It used to be Jerusalem. And so
Hmm.
they used to pray towards the dome, like the Al Aqsa. I mean, and so then Muhammad changed the direction to be Mecca. And so this mosque was built first in the direction of Jerusalem, and then they had to adjust the mosque to switch all of its orientation to Mecca. So it's called the Mosque of the Two Directions. And I pulled my muscle really bad in my back in this, and so you can see I'm crooked. I'm really, really in pain because I pulled my
Oh
back
God.
praying. Yeah, God smited me on this one.
Oh God.
Yeah,
This guy.
I I thought this Indonesian shirt was really interesting because it's got little meccas, little Kaabas in the
Oh, look
design.
at
Yeah,
that.
they're like, oh, bros, we're going on our Umrah together. Let's all get matching Kaaba
Let's get
shirts.
our
Yeah, that's
matching. Yeah,
awesome.
it's like people with Disney where the family gets all the T-shirts going to Disney.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
but you could understand also like I'm sure there's some other sect of Islam that's like that motherfucker, like you know, yeah. Um,
Wow.
so I think this is Moscow. Okay, let's get out of Medina because I think we're almost done with Medina. We can get on to the good stuff of oh, there's just another one. Like they're saving this mosque, but you can see all the massive construction around. Like just this pit.
Oh wow.
This one mosque was saved, but all this construction. Um, this is me visiting some old mosques. This and stuff like that. All
Shoot.
the vandalism. There's just vandalism everywhere. Um, anyway, getting the point on Medina. SpongeBob shirt. You can buy a SpongeBob shirt. SpongeBob. Just more of the. Um, oh, this is. No, I'm sorry. I think I named the wrong mosque, but here's the one in the two directions. Um,
Mm.
they looked very similar, so I'm sorry. Or
No,
maybe
you're
yeah,
good.
yeah. No. Um,
It's Mickey D's.
went to McDonald's and I had a Medina Big Mac. So I had a Big Mac in Medina, and here it is. Very very
Whoa.
holy, very holy. So then we get in a bus, and I took a bus. And we're on our way driving to Mecca. I thought this was really interesting. You see that what that that's penthouse.
Yeah.
So when you go to Saudi, and so you know how when you're flying and you go to the duty free and they're selling things that Westerners want in a duty free shop. It's usually alcohol, right? That's what people waste their money on in duty free shops. Sometimes they're selling perfumes. Sometimes you see watches. In the Middle East, there's no alcohol, but they're still selling like the watches, the perfume, and selling really nice pens is really big in the Middle East. Like really fancy pens, like $400 pens, you know. And so like if you're a really fancy dude, you've got like a really nice pen. But so this is clearly a place to buy really nice pens. But I don't know. Do you recognize the font for that?
Gosh, let me see the font.
You're too young, man. You're too young.
I'm too young to recognize the font. What's up with the font?
It's from a Penthouse magazine.
It's the
They clearly took Penthouse magazine and then removed the T and
what?
made Penthouse.
What?
I know, right? like
Why? What?
like the guy was just like borrowing some font or whatever, and he
He's
was just like,
genius. He's genius.
I
He's
know, I couldn't believe it.
remove the
I
T.
was like, oh my god, does he know where that's from? Penthouse magazine, Penthouse.
This is Penthouse.
Oh
That's
my
really
god.
funny.
All right, this guy, yeah, he's
Some
selling
little
shit. Like
angels.
this, the thing is, you're like, this is what's so weird is it's supposed to be this huge spiritual journey, and there's just this people selling this like the worst brick-brac shit like everywhere. You
Oh
know,
my god.
that's what it's like.
It's like it's everywhere. It's like because I was in I went to Philip II's tomb, like Alexander the Great's dad, and like right
Yeah.
outside there's a guy selling like crappy Spartan like 300 masks and toy swords and stuff. You're like, get this out of here. This sucks. Oh my gosh, look at you.
So yeah, so I finally got my ihram robe,
Damn, you
which
look
is
cool.
yeah, it's very much like a towel, and you can see that my money belt thing is underneath. Um, that they have, and then we're on our way. They stopped at this mosque on our way, and then
That's
eventually
pretty.
we make it to. I forgot what this mosque is. There's so many mosques that you visit that you just start forgetting. But we're on the road and it's very desolate. And because, you know, keep in mind that like Muhammad's journey from um, Mecca to Medina and back again, like getting kicked out and going to Medina and then returning to Mecca, like this journey, you're supposed to be thinking about Muhammad's journey during these times and like how hard it must have been for him to do it on foot.
Mm,
Um, this is the beginning of the Haram boundary.
that's cool. Holy shit.
This is where yeah, infidels are not allowed past this point. So that's what this marks. Infidels are not allowed past this point. And
I
so
like how it looks like a ruin. It looks like a Roman ruin or something like that with all this like trash next to it and all that. It's supposed
yeah,
to be
well there's
this
a lot of
intimidating
trash.
border.
There's a lot of trash everywhere. But you're right, like clearly they had some plan to build some sort of building next to it or something and they never got around
Yeah.
to it. They didn't get their funding or something.
Just leave the sheet metal there on that like walkway, have the
Yeah.
dirt piling up on the stairs. Like yeah, dang.
So we make it in. This I think
Oh
this
my
is the
god.
light on the side is from because it's the window from my bus. But there's so much construction going on that I'm in Mecca that I'm just like, oh my god,
Huh.
here we are. The clock tower is the second tallest building in the world, but you get to count the decoration. So,
Mm,
but that just this is me arriving, and
cranes.
it's just cranes in Mecca. So
Wow.
here we are in Mecca, and we begin our walk to our hotel. Our hotel is in the mall across from the Grand Mosque. So we're walking from the bus station to the Grand Mosque, and there's just all this construction. just building, 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 building more, because you can just, the amount of tourism, the capability of Muslims to make it to Mecca increases every year as through development. So you're just like, you just think of like Indonesia and the hundreds of thousands of people, and it's like the richer they get, the more they can do it. So they
Mm.
have to have all these resources that they're building for it. And Mecca has a very different feel. It's more mall than flea market. And so there is the Grand Mosque, the
Uh,
largest mosque in the world. And all of this construction is Bin Laden construction, the construction company that handles it all. Same family as Osama bin Laden, but of course, like the
yeah.
rest of the bin Ladens never did anything wrong. So it's just like, you're like, sorry that we have the name bin Laden, but
We're not changing it, all right? It was him that did it.
but they made their wealth through construction, so you can
Mm.
understand why. So here's the
Jeez,
mall.
everything's so huge.
Yeah, so there's the second tallest building in the world. I'm staying at a hotel inside this mall, which is inside this clock tower. And we went into the mosque, and there's the Kaaba. For the first time, there's my companion looking back and being like, "Oh, where are you?" And people just going up there and like trying to touch it, and people touching it, and the clock tower at night, and it's just getting very crowded and pushy.
I've
And
always been confused with the Kaaba. So the Kaaba was built by Abraham. Is the idea right? Is
so,
I'm
yes,
trying
according to the
to.
story, it was the house of Adam,
Okay,
and
Adam.
then and then it gets destroyed and rebuilt many times. So it's originally the house of Adam, and then it's rebuilt by Abraham. The idea being that uh, they have a different story of what happened with Isaac and Ishmael. Like, in truth, it's probably a translation issue that Isaac and Ishmael were the same person, and then
Mm.
the names changed, and then someone found two tales, and they're like, well, this says Isaac is his son, and this says Ishmael is his son, and they combined the tales, which is why we get this weird story of Isaac and Ishmael, where this old man is dragging up Isaac to the top of the mountain to switch his birthright to his second-born son rather than his firstborn son, and without any help from Ishmael, and all this weird stuff that doesn't make any sense. But nonetheless, according to Islamic tradition, the inheritance of the Holy Land goes through Ishmael, Abraham's eldest son. That God didn't just fucking randomly change his mind and choose the second-born son. He chose his firstborn son, his son by Hagar. And so they were in this area, and Hagar lost Ishmael, and she's panicked and she's running around looking for him. And Ishmael like kicks the ground, and the Zemzem well like breaks open, and Abraham builds his house here. And so it's um, so yeah, it's everybody's house. It's Adam's house. It's Abraham's house. It's lots of people's house.
Because I was wondering how like the flood fits in with it. Like, was the house destroyed in the flood and then rebuilt
Maybe
in
I'm
the same exact
sure. Maybe
spot?
it's other people's house too. It might have been Noah's house. I forget, but it's specifically it's Adam's, and it's Abraham's. Um,
Was that a story that was probably applied to it later? That it was served a different? Because that's the thing is like it used to
yeah.
be pagan, right? There used to be idols inside it or something.
Yes. Yes. So, essentially the story of Mecca is really linked to Damascus. Damascus is the oldest city on the planet. I mean, the joke is Damascus was founded and then the earth cooled. Like, it's Damascus is fucking old. And it was Damascus is really fucking important. And so the idea is that all of the frankincense and various spiritual sap that you needed for incense was produced in Yemen or across in Africa. So if you wanted any African trade or Yemeni trade, which was significant,
Mm.
you would head up down this road and to get to Damascus, the King's Road, it was called. And Mecca was a logical like oasis way station, probably because of the Zemzem well. There is a fresh water well here called the Zemzem well. So it made sense that all of these people that are traveling for trade and doing their caravans, coming from the Yemen across the Aden Straits to Africa up to Damascus, would stop at Mecca at some point. And so Mecca became this big trade hub. And so they were like, we've got different cultures from all over the world. Let's accommodate them all. And so every different religion was allowed to put their different god and idol in the house here. And it was, so everybody was coming here. It became the religious center for a lot of religions now, because now there is a place where your idol is there and you can go worship. And so everybody's stopping and it's becoming this big center. And then, eventually with the rise of monotheism, people are like, no, I don't want all these fucking other gods here. I would just want my God, everybody else out. And at first the people of Mecca were like, no, get the fuck out of here, Muhammad. Go to Medina. And he left, and then he just grew in popularity, and he came back. And by then, after he came back, it was like the religion, Islam as a religion, and his followers had grown so much that they were like, fine. And they ended having all of the other pagan idols there. But the house used to be filled with all of these pagan idols. You could see it as like Mecca used to be a place of religious tolerance, actually, like you could look at it like that. Like they were like, yeah, everybody can worship here. Cool. You're all here at this. Everybody's in there. Everybody's God is in there, so.
It's like the House of Black and White. Now that I think about it. Hey.
You're right.
Did George intend that? Is that an inspiration there? I don't know.
I don't know. He doesn't think about Islam very much.
Yeah, I don't think George knows too much about Islam. It's the thing.
Like I say, when he's written about it in Wildcards, he gets things a bit wrong. There is also the meteorite theory. There is a meteorite. Well, we don't know what it is because no one's ever been allowed to research or examine it. But there is a stone at the corner in this silver bowl on the corner of the Kaaba. And some people think, oh, this meteorite landed and everybody started worshiping this meteorite and it became really important or something. But these men are all muscling and fighting each other. Like it's very violent to try to touch the meteorite, to touch the stone. I did eventually touch the stone. I woke up really, really early in the morning, like I was like 4 a.m, and I went in there and I fought and I fought and I fought and I touched the stone and it was sopping wet from sweat. And
oh my God.
Yeah, some people try to kiss it. Like if they're really lucky, they try to kiss it, but it's like so violent. Like people are pushing and punching and I remember touching it. And I go, gross, it's wet. And everyone around me started laughing because they're like, yeah, of course, dude. Like, but here it is. Yeah, it's just violent, fucking violent, trying to touch this thing. It's just
is it? Oh,
it's really dangerous.
Dang.
Yeah, I tried to get in here and I couldn't, and then I had to do it in the middle of the night. Like it's just yeah. So there's the door. Here's me. I'm so much taller than everybody. I'm sorry. Here I am.
Okay.
Oh, no, man.
Look at the guy behind you. The guy's like, for real.
Yeah, the Houston guy. There's another one I think where some dude's looking really angry. These dudes are all looking pretty nice. Little guy brought his kid in.
Oh, look at that.
That guy's looking pretty angry.
Yeah, the guy's looking directly at you.
But yeah, here I am. There's my friend laughing
Hey,
at
there's
me.
your
He's like, "What are
friend.
you doing?" This guy I thought was funny. There's this guy next to my, and I was like, people are like, "Is that Assad? Like, who's that?" Like, um,
Oh my gosh, look at that guy.
yeah,
You're so much taller than everybody. Oh my god.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like Duncan the Tall. You're
That's really the thing that made me stick out the most is that I was so tall. Like, yeah, I look, like feature wise, there's other people with features similar to me, but I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
tall that everybody's like, "What the hell? Who is this guy?"
Yeah, look,
Um,
there's the guy looking right at you. Right? He's like, "Well, look at
yeah,
that giant man."
Assad's right there.
So-
um, yeah. So, and then
So what's
we got
inside? Is it hollow? What's inside the kava? Is
yeah.
it?
It's just empty. I
Oh,
think
okay.
there's a couple layers of where they used to like house the idols, but yeah, it's empty inside.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just brick. So the cloak makes it seem like the box is black. It's not. It's actually brick, but they cover it with a
okay.
big black sheet.
Uh,
Um, and yeah. So remember, I told you the story of Hagar running in the desert. Well, she
yeah.
supposedly runs. So to do a pilgrimage, you walk around the Kaaba 7 times, and then you run between these two mountains 7 times, and then you drink Zemzem water. And so when I first heard, "Oh, I run between these mountains," I thought I was going to be outside running between mountains. Instead, it's like you're in an airport, and it's like I need to go to like Terminal B, and it's this long fucking hallway inside. And there are these green lights above, and the green lights signify when Hagar was running, and where they end is where Hagar is walking. And so
Okay.
everyone runs when the green light during the green light time, and they walk during the non green light time to do what Hagar did.
Uh,
And
it's so
so
it's so strange to see like an ancient ritual modernized like that. Like it's like a
yeah,
rave or something. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like I said, it is exactly like you just feel like you're in an airport because it's like all the people walking one direction down a hallway, like going to Terminal B, you know. So um, so there's this you kind of start the start so the I think there's the two mountains. I think one might be called Safa, and so you start at one mountain and you go to the other because she was Hagar was going to the top of the mountain to see if she could find like water or anything because her baby Ishmael was dying. And so she's panicked and she's running to the top of one mountain and then she runs to the top of the other mountain. And because she's panicked and she keeps doing it 7 times, and then Ishmael hits the ground and the Zemzem well breaks open.
Uh,
And so here's you can see the lights and everyone running. And then this is out of some stuff out of order. Am I going to get back in order here? You know what? I think this might be where it is. Okay. Gotcha. Here it is. So lots of people getting pushed in wheelchairs. And at one point, this woman, who's not even showing her face, completely like not even eyes, is like, "Muhammad, Muhammad, Muhammad, Muhammad." And I was like, "What?" It was like saying Joe to somebody. It's called to Muhammad. Like, "Hey, Joe." And she's like, push my friend. And so I was like, okay. So I pushed this woman
okay.
for like, yeah, for like 5 of the trips. I pushed this
Oh
woman
my god.
up, like down and up the mountains. Like pushing the wheelchair up the mountain is actually kind of hard because it's like smooth. You're like going up a fairly steep ramp. So there I am. My friend took a picture. He thought it was hilarious. He's like, "What are you doing, dude?" Yeah. So
There's your friend.
this dome is on top of the rocks because I think there's the mountain, and so people are up there praying, saying prayers,
That's
things
so,
like that.
that's so strange that they built like an entire complex around the mountain and then like
Yeah,
kept the peak. That's so crazy.
yeah. and then you kind of you're on this high ground, and then it ramps down into the there. I see the like if it was like if iPhones, like none of these, all these photos would be like perfect, right? But it's like different era.
Yeah, then your friends is a perfect photo right there. Yeah.
Yeah. There's me in front of the Kaaba. In front of the Kaaba. There's another circle of wheelchairs like on the kind of the outside that you have to kind of like frogger through to not get run over.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You see your friend's money belt there.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, what's this Zamboni? Is it what's going on right there? These like
This is
doctors?
crazy. This is crazy. So the mosque is open 24 hours a day and it's filled with people 24 hours a day. So how do you clean something? So these dudes come in with ropes and like push people out. They like put up ropes and then they push people out of like one section for a while. And then the Zambonis come in and like clean it really efficiently. And then once that area is done, they like close it up and then they go to another section and they clean it.
Oh my god.
It's so weird, but it's like how do you clean something that's occupied 24 hours a day? And this is the answer.
Yeah.
They are
You
really
should just get
efficient. It's really fucking cool, actually. It's one of the coolest things I've
wow.
ever seen. But you can see, like, you know, they kind
It's
of like,
like it's like you see the old Dune movie where they get the guild navigator in there, the like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the weird fish guy, and then he goes back out and they have like the team of guys with like vacuums and like
right, and
mops and
deal with it
stuff.
all. Yes, yes, yes. It's much, but it's amazing. It's amazing. Um, they are amazing. I think it's Bin Laden
Wow.
cleaning.
All right.
By,
Hey.
by the way, but yeah. So there I am in front of the
Hey, that's a
Kaaba.
good photo.
Yeah, giving the thumbs up to the clock tower, and then here's the outside again. The construction everywhere. Holy Haram civil work in progress. Holy Haram, not Haram. Haram is forbidden. Holy Haram. Sorry for the inconvenience. Um, there's the Bin Laden construction guys. They're everywhere. Holes
Wow.
everywhere. No parking. People with matching hijabs. Construction everywhere. Everywhere. Smurf. You can buy some
Smurfs.
Smurf stuff in Mecca. Toy Story stuff in Mecca. Here's a different cemetery. Not the Baki cemetery, but a different one that they've also bulldozed.
Uh,
And nothing being there.
Eminem.
Eminem graffiti on this palace. Yeah, this is called the Al Sakaf Palace, and it's just completely covered in graffiti, including somebody that was a big fan of Eminem.
It's weird. Even
I
the
know,
sign has graffiti on it.
I know. But like I said, like when they don't, if it's if it doesn't get funding, this is what happens to
It,
everything that doesn't get funded. Like it falls into
uh,
ruin. Ah, this is something. So because I'm there on an Umrah, not a Hajj, I'm off season. Most people don't do this, but this is going to the Three Devils. Um, as part of a official Hajj, one of the things you do is you go to the Three Devils and you throw stones at the Three Devils. There
oh.
was a problem with this, is that in the past, the devils used to just be three pillars. And so when crowds and crowds of people are gathered around the pillar and they start throwing rocks, they would hit each other and people would die.
Yeah.
And this was a huge, huge problem. And so now, to deal with this, they've made the Three Devils into an enormous parking garage. And I don't mean parking garage in the sense of like that's cars, but those are all what you see up ahead are ramps for people to walk on foot to come into the Three Devils that they've reconstructed.
Are
And
the three devils the three goddesses that used to be like the goddesses of Mecca, like Alat, Allah, or whatever the other one's name is?
That's a good question. I think you may. Um, Stoning of the devil. Um,
No, it's the three temptations of
Three Temptations.
Abraham. Okay, no, I'm
So
mixing it up.
yeah, in 2004 they yeah they replaced everything, and it's just so there are now you can see you can come in on 5 different
Oh, so those are
levels.
the pillars. Oh,
Well, this
shoot.
is the outside. This is the construction around the pillars. We'll get to the pillars. You'll see the pillars now.
Uh,
That's one of the pillars now. So
were
they
you in here
instead of
alone?
having
Was
a
you?
thin pillar, they have a wide wall because you're not going to fucking
Uh,
miss the wall. And it's like you can't throw very high. And this is just one of 5 levels. So you can go in on any level, find one of the pillars. You can see one of the other ones in the back, and throw a rock at it. And the green thing is like the collection of pebbles and rocks.
uh,
So that like, they can clear that out later, shovel it out later. Like there won't be a big pile of rocks from everybody throwing. But like, I mean, people were getting hurt, like all trying to throw rocks at these pillars. So they're like, okay, well, what do we do? Well, we'll make it a really safe, really long wall, and then you can come at it from many levels, like a parking garage. Um,
and were you in there alone? Because it was a
I was in
looks
there alone because
empty.
no one bothered to go. Like no one was bothering to go during off season. Like
Uh,
like during because you don't for a regular Umrah, you just have to do the 7 times around and the running between. Only for Hajj do you have these extra activities, like going to Mount Arafat, sacrificing a lamb and giving it to charity. There's a lot of things that you have to do in order as part of Hajj. And so the stoning of the devils is part of Hajj. And because I wasn't there during Hajj, like no one is there to do that. I'm only doing it. I'm only going there because I'm a tourist and I want to see it. And while like other people are here, not necessarily for like tourism.
are there like guards or staff or anything, or is it just completely empty?
Completely empty. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But you can see where all the stones would. I think the pillars might go all the way down so that the stones would fall all the way down. But
Uh,
but yeah, there it says so. There's like a big one, a middle one, and a small one or something. But they're like, this is what you do. There's your one, the big Jamara. Yeah. Escalators. You can get it up. But this is all just foot traffic ramps. Yeah, it's
uh,
deserted. It's just me. It's crazy. It's
yeah,
really
this is
weird.
crazy that there's just nothing here. This is like this giant mega structure that's just you're just wandering around inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um. Yeah. These are the escalators to like take you up to the different floors if you're disabled. Oh, there's one
Oh,
other
there's
dude.
somebody. There's one guy. I don't know what he's doing in here.
Um. But yeah, it was just so surreal because I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah.
I mean, think of like you can consider it this way, like this is one of the holiest places in the world, and it's like this odd fucking parking garage structure. So anyway, I kept walking, and this is the tent camps that you stay at when you're doing Hajj. You stay on these big, massive tent camps, and these tent camps go on and on and on. Here I'm leaving, and I'm heading towards the tent camps. And the tent camps are for the most part deserted, except for, as I was saying, refugees are living there, like overstays, like Africans, Somalis, Sudanese. And so I'm just walking through these camp areas here,
Mm.
and um, so normally these are all like filled with like people camping, and they have it by country. So this is like designated for. This looks like it's designated for Um, oh, is that Iraqis? It has the God is great thing on, but it's like designated by your country. So I think this is an area designated for Iraqis.
Mm.
And big AC, like they're all AC'd. These camp areas, and you can see like these are old, other people's like old discarded robes, like my robe, but this guy discarded his and just left it when he left Hajj. He was like, done. So you're supposed to sacrifice a lamb and give it to charity as part of Hajj, but that's pretty impractical for millions of
Yeah.
people to be sacrificing lambs. So what you can do instead is you go here and you pay somebody who promises that they will sacrifice a lamb for you. So so that's all handled so that you don't have to. Because I mean, if you had, imagine like just millions of lambs, like just the blood everywhere from everybody sacrificing a lamb. So instead, you just go and you get a bond, and they promise to you pay them money, and they promise to sacrifice a lamb in your name, and that's how that's done. And
It's a
give it to
big
charity.
scam. They reveal that it's a
No,
big
no, because
scam. They
I
don't
mean,
actually.
this is heavily regulated by the state.
Yeah.
And this is all this meat is in fact given to charity. There's a lot of oversight of this. Like I understand, like anywhere else, you'd be like, that guy's taking that money and running. But no. Like the Saudi government it's very, very like into like, no, you will sacrifice this lamb properly in a halal fashion and give that meat to the poor as part of as charity. Like this is pretty. I mean, yeah, you're gonna think that it's gonna be a scam, but the Saudi government really makes sure like this is done.
Wow. That makes sense too, because you're right that how impractical it would be if everybody had to sacrifice their own lamb the same rough time. Like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I mean, you see the
It's
sacrifices that are made, right? Like between history and the practicality of having millions of people come in to one place to do a religious pilgrimage, like with the three devils and here in this camp, like what they have to do.
yeah.
But yeah, this is Mina camp, and so this is where everybody stays during Hajj. But it's of course like keep away from crowds and don't push. Beware of rain hazard.
Rain hazard. Oh crap.
Yeah. Don't carry belongings in Jamarat. Don't carry. Yeah. Don't
It's
litter.
funny how just desolate this is. Yeah, look at, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Don't litter.
It was a little dangerous actually. I went out this far and like I realized like I didn't have enough water and there was like no shops open and I was like, fuck.
Oh god.
So these are some refugee tents. They're like some Somalians here, just like living. Because I mean, I guess it's like free land and there's some shelter. All right, to make it back to Mecca. There's then I go into the mall. Here's the shopping center where I live. There's your Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
And there's your Burger King.
Burger King.
I had there's your Hardee's. So you can overlook the holiest mosque in the world and enjoy a Whopper, which I did. There I am enjoying
What's
my
better
Whopper.
than that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's better than that? That's a great photo. This is an awesome photo right here.
I went to the shop. This is the I thought this was ridiculous because I went to the you know how the map on malls that are like where the different shops were, and I was like, okay, here we go. It just says retail, retail, retail. I was like, this is useful. The whole thing tells me that it's just retail. Okay, after you get an umrah, after you do your umrah, you're supposed to get your head shaved. That's part of your, you shave your whole body, your pubes, your head, your armpits, you know. So I got my head shaved. And as part of the process, so he's waving, this guy's waving at me. He's like, hey. But yeah, the streets of Mecca at night, a lot of construction, a lot of high rises, people everywhere. The mosque, just got more pictures of the Kaaba. And then I think I took a picture of a Chinese Quran that I found that was there. You know, they have Qurans in different languages so that you can, you know, or the translation next to at least the Arabic text. There's our cleaner dudes again. Cleaning. Yeah. Oh yeah, like it's beautiful because when they clean, they come out. It's almost like a performance because it's like one guy goes out and then it's like beat, next guy goes out, beat, next guy goes out, and it's just this beautiful synchrony from the cleaning crew.
That's awesome.
And they do their thing. There's all the Zemzem water, people washing, drinking Zemzem water. And then, you know, going around. And then the cleaning crews. I mean, you can tell I was just fucking fascinated with these cleaning crews.
The unsung heroes. Look at these guys.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're so great. And then some people would break the rules and duck under and be like,
yes.
He's like, can I go in now? No. Can I go? No. I was like, but yeah, they're beautiful, like synchronized, like cleaning here. And then, okay. This is again, like, I think, where am I here? This is brother in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad said, do not pray here. Do not take the soil. This is Mount Arafat. And so Muhammad gave a important sermon at Arafat. You're supposed to visit Arafat during your Hajj. People do visit here at other times. But you can see it's also all vandalized.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And then... Oh, I'm sorry. I'll come to Arafat later. I made a mistake. This is the mountain outside of Mecca where during Muhammad's flight, he and Abu Bakr climbed it and hid in the hills. And they said, don't visit it. Climbing it is haram. But of course I go and people are climbing it. And so we climb up the mountain for a while. It's vandalized because there's no one to clean it and maintain it because it's considered someplace you shouldn't be. And it specifically says don't pray here. Here I am bald claiming it. I guess I'm bald now, so it's not too different. But at the time it was very weird. I'm like, look, I'm so bald. You know, like
it's crazy seeing the amount of holy sites that they explicitly tell you not to visit.
Yeah, unreal.
That's crazy.
Unreal. I mean, I suppose it'd be like, you know, imagine if you went through like Rome or Italy and like destroyed all of the cathedrals except for the Vatican, and we're like, don't pray here, you know, like trash everywhere. But you do see that people are praying here and doing doing their thing. But these were mostly Afghans. These were Afghans that I saw here. Afghans and Indians. Let's see, some camels. Now we're coming to Arafat. Dear pilgrims, striving hard to offer dua is better than putting yourself through difficulty in climbing the mountain. Right? Like, or like, don't climb, don't climb. There's us climbing, all graffitied, all graffitied, and you get to the
Oh,
top, and women are praying to it and kissing it and doing all the things that you shouldn't do at the top. And people,
hmm.
they've painted it was graffitied, and then they painted over it, and it's graffitied again. Um, but yeah, this was a big deal.
Uh,
Like, Ahmed loves Fatima kind of stuff. But yeah, but every inch of it, Mount Arafat is just graffitied.
uh,
And here, this is, oh my God, this is haram. Like I said, they're like praying to it. Like, it's just like, this is, but people are going to have their faith, the way they're going to celebrate it, they're going to practice it the way they're going to practice it. So, um, El Rahman Mountain, different, but again, these are all signs saying like, don't climb. I don't, for some reason, took all of this stuff. Oh God, this is the best.
oh,
Oh my God. This is the mountain where Muhammad first received the message.
oh,
Okay, you'd
oh,
think
keep
this would be
real.
like a mega site, but again,
Yeah, that should be.
don't climb it. It's haram and not maintained. But this one gets quite a few visitors, despite them saying like, don't come here.
That's crazy. The spot where he receives divine
Mm-hmm.
inspiration is not considered a holy site. That is insane to me. It
Yeah,
has trash all over it.
yeah, and I think Popular Front. I think that's. I'm trying to. Oh, Popular Front of India is a political organization of Islamists who um they they were banned in India recently. Like they're pretty extreme and like, but you could see someone's like Popular Front, like okay, like why are you graffitiing the mountain that Muhammad received the message in Saudi with like this this group in India? Like it's really weird.
This is just so crazy to me because like I'm used to Christians who will find desperately try to find anything like that's a holy site and make a big deal out of it. And this is like
Mm-hmm.
the opposite where they have like the most obvious holy sites and they're just kind
Oh
of
yeah, they're swimming. They're
trashed.
swimming in it. They're swimming in it. And the thing is, like, so some people have argued that the whole keeping foreigners out of Mecca thing is it's more of a practicality thing. Like they're having a hard time enough dealing with the pilgrims. Imagine if they had to deal with Western tourists at the same fucking time. That would be horrible.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I can understand that argument, but at the same time, like Saudi Arabia has so many tourist sites. Now, Saudi Arabia has actually opened up to tourism quite a bit in the past few years, and now it's much easier. You get landing tourist visas now. Before you couldn't, but it was very difficult to visit Saudi Arabia. But they have all of the sites. They have so many things you can like tourism wise to see in Saudi Arabia. There's so much. Um, so when their oil runs out, they've got tourism, but you know. But yeah, so climbing up, Popular Front.
Oh man.
And I was like, is that Korean? I was just like what? Like I'm just a Popular Front of India. This Popular Front guy just decided to like
Yeah, this guy
just
this is
the whole fucking mountain. And so we get to the top of this. Be keep our holy area clean. It's just
that ain't
covered with
happening.
bottles filled with piss. Um, and then you get to the top and it is littered with oh there's the cave.
Oh.
Now by comparison, think about how many people were at that mosque. and I come here, and yeah, there's like 20 people.
12, 15 people. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like I got to go in and see the cave, pretty easily. Had to wait like
That's,
a couple minutes. Beautiful up this mountain. It's beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful.
it's real high up.
Yeah. You can see the clock tower and
Oh,
yeah. Here people are. All this graffiti.
hmm.
And there it is. There's the
Huh.
cave where Muhammad received. And somebody was like, water bottle. I was like the fucking gall of some people, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the cave that Muhammad received the message, and you're just gonna like fucking like throw this bottle, like saw it, like what? Like just the audacity, like
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck?
I thought like Americans are bad, like we're like known like around the world as like being like this, but no,
It's
no,
I mean
it's
it's
all
really
over the
weird,
place.
right? Because it's really weird as like the infidel, right? I'm the atheist,
Yeah,
being like, wow, like I would have so much more reverence for this than people that are supposedly believers. Like it's just insane to me.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so there was and then it's just trash and trash and trash everywhere on the way down, and we're gonna see the baboons.
What the hell?
The mountain is infested with these really violent baboons,
Oh God.
and I don't know if the stories are true, but around this time, there was a baboon story. There was a story that baboons like ran off with some woman's baby, and they're like, and I don't know if it's a real story or not, but everyone believed it. But like, apparently these baboons live on the trash on the mountain. Like people leave water bottles, and if the water bottle has just a little bit of water, it's like, there we go. The baboons like got it. So these baboons are just living off all the trash that people leave behind. Um, and they're pretty aggressive,
Oh my
these
God.
baboons.
I don't know
But
if baboons are even native to this region,
they
right? Or there's
are, but they live in little pocket oases areas. Like they shouldn't
oh
be
my
on this
God.
big sunny mountain where there's no
Yeah.
food. Like this is a pretty fucking desolate mountain. They just fucking live on the trash. People's snacks and water. But I mean, you can see how
Oh
much
my
trash there is, and the
God.
baboon just going through it. Yeah,
That
one
sucks.
down here, one down here, one over here, one up here, one over here, one over here.
I'm like just surprised at just how much trash. Like you don't just keep your water bottle with you and take it with you all down the mountain and
Yeah,
throw it away somewhere else.
but yeah,
Uh,
that one's getting aggressive. It's like, um, but yeah, that was and then back. Now remember, my hotel's in the mall, and so this is Friday, where we can't get close to the mosque because it's
oh
Friday.
man.
So there's just
Yeah.
we can't even leave our hotel because the crowds are so thick. And so or maybe we came back. Maybe we definitely didn't go to the mosque on Friday. Am I out of order again? This might be a different day. But yeah, this is up getting to the golden door. These guards try to push you on. They're like, stop bogarting the golden door. They're like, come on, move. Like, okay. Because you can see everybody bogarting the door. Like, come
Mm,
on. Yeah, hey, little
little
guy.
baby.
Yeah. There's people piling on,
They're
trying to get to
fighting.
the fighting for the rock again. Um,
Oh my gosh.
it's just violent in there. Um,
Cleaning guys.
guys looking for their shoes. More cleaning. Guys looking for their shoes. This guy is hilarious because
This
he's just
guy's
like,
like, I am screwed.
I'm fucked. There's no way I'm finding my fucking shoes. Then we went to Jeddah. Um, Jeddah. We went to Jeddah for a day, uh, and I think we went back. But Jeddah was quite beautiful.
Oh, look at that sunset.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then we're back, and then now it's Friday. I'm sorry that I jumped
Oh my
ahead,
god.
but it's Friday, and we can't get out of the mall. We can't get out of our hotel because of the crowds, and so we're stuck in the mall. And the overflow, the mosque is completely full. The area between the mosque and the mall is completely full. And so now the mall is filling up. And
Oh
so
man.
the mall is filling up with people that are praying. And you just get the most hilarious sights here because it's just like, okay, there's your Starbucks. Everyone's getting ready to pray. And it's just like, we're all ready. We're in this mall. And it looks like you're like praying to these like advertisements because it's just like, okay, here we are. Like it's like I'm gonna pray to Haagen Dazs. Like that's what it looks like. Like getting ready. Okay, here we go. Let's pray. Let's pray into Haagen
It's the
Dazs.
Haagen Dazs.
But here they go
Oh
down,
man.
and it's
Starbucks.
like praying to the mobile cell phone. Here we are. But yeah, praying to the perfume ad. And I think we're getting to the end, and that's it. That's it. We made it through the
Oh man.
slideshow. Thank you, Trey, for spending 2 hours with me going through my boring
No,
slideshow.
that was fascinating. That wasn't boring at all. No, I learned a ton about. Oh no, no, I'm surprised at some of the stuff I learned. You know.
Yeah. I mean, any last questions of like the whole experience? Like,
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. I can't like people were very worried about me and scared. And I don't know. I did it, and like once I shaved my head, people stopped staring at me. But before I shaved my head, everybody was kind of looking at me a lot. But no one ever said anything. Some people tried to talk to me, and they're like, "You're from Turkey, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am." You know, like things like that happened. But
Did you if you weren't praying at like the designated times, where did you get dirty looks or something like that? Or
no, no. People for the most part, people minded their business. Like, what you're doing, like me walking around taking pictures of people, no one had a problem with. Like, because there were other
mm,
people doing that too at times. Like um, specifically the Indonesian tourists love to take pictures, and they were taking pictures right and left. Like they were big on picture taking. And so there was an argument. My friend got into an argument actually at the mosque because an Indonesian was taking pictures, and some Pakistani guy was like, stop that's haram. And my friend is like, he was honestly like, who the fuck are you to tell him that that's haram? Are you the fucking imam? Like, what are you doing? Like, there is a live feed of the Kaaba on TV that gets sent out. Like, is that haram? Like, who are you to tell him that he can't fucking take a picture? Like, he got in this guy's face. And like, I was like, oh, Egyptians love to argue, Like, but I mean, so that kind of stuff happened. Um, for the most part, though, people the people that asked me questions were actually like shop sellers who knew English very well. Like not many other
mm,
people like had enough English. Like one, they had to care, right? And two, they had to care and know English, and like how many people had those two things together? There were a few people like tried to talk to me, but not many. It was actually a very lonely experience because my friend
mm.
would go off and pray, and I was just not going to pray 5 times a day, and he was going to pray 5 times a day. So I did a lot of walking around, a lot of time to myself, just walking by myself. It was a very lonely 10 days, but it was also like the most educational 10 days of my entire fucking life. Like it was like I
Wow.
learned so much during that 10 days. I saw so much during that 10 days. It was very boring, but it was also so fascinating at the same time, you know? So it was, yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what like people think about the whole thing and stuff, you know, like, but, a lot of people like come back and like people are confused. They're like, so you are a Muslim now? And I'm like, like, I mean, in Egypt, I suppose technically, according to their like records that they have, I am a Muslim according to the Egyptian records, you know. But people were very confused um,
Hmm.
uh, by the action, or like some people thought it was very dangerous. Some people thought I'd become a religious nut. Um, you know, a lot of different attitudes and ideas that were going to go. Some people thought I was going to get killed. You know,
Hmm.
like they're going to slit your throat. I was like, oh my god, like no, like no, they're not. So you know, it's just it's one of these experiences where, like, on the one hand, like I don't know, for my personal education, it did a lot. I don't know, but I don't know if that personal education like helps anybody else. Like I don't know if like when I tell the stories are like, wow, that's really weird. Or like you might get somebody that's like, so you don't, you're not being respectful to their religion. And I was like, I don't know. I think I'm respecting it as much as like a person who's an atheist can, right? Like I'm trying to
Hmm.
learn as much as I can about something. Um,
Yeah.
uh, you know, like it's as respect. I don't know. I feel like it's as respectful as an atheist can be. Like I can't not be an atheist. Like it's just like that's where I am. But like,
Hmm.
but at the same time, like I have this urge to learn and see and learn about all these people, and it's I don't know. I felt like I needed to go and see this, do this, you know, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I get that. I totally understand that. Like that, it's educational. I don't know. Like, how would you know that you don't? I don't know that you don't like it or you don't understand it or something unless you go and learn. You know, like I think
yeah,
it's weird to close yourself off.
yeah. I mean, it's also like when you talk to Muslims in the Middle East, they all frame their life as a, well, there was before I went to Mecca, and there was after I went to Mecca. Like
Hmm.
I used to be a bad kid. I used to drink. I used to chase women. And when they say that, it's like, no, you didn't. Like, no, you didn't. Like, you know, like I had
It's
these
like how
crazy
Christians treat
days. No, you didn't. Like, but it's
they
fine.
do like how Christians treat baptism. Like they're like,
Yeah.
yes, I was so sinful. I was
Right.
so
Like,
low.
you know, you hear about the Amish rumspringers and you're like, oh my God, those rumspringers. And it's like, the guys drank a bunch of beer in a field and like went to the mall a couple times, and that's their fucking rumspringer, you know? Like, it's like, how wild can a 16-year-old get when he's living at home in rural Pennsylvania? You know, like there's not that much you can do. So there's that aspect to it. Like, so it's like very fascinating where they're just like, no, like the minute I saw the Kaaba, something clicked, and I was a
Mhm.
different person. Like God spoke to me. And so it's like, you know, it's like you want to be like, okay, well, let's see what happens when I go and I see the Kaaba. You know,
Yeah.
nothing much.
Got to see those cleaning guys though. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I saw a lot of fascinating things. A lot of fascinating things.
You learn that the black stone is sweaty and
And
gross.
what? Yeah. I learned that they sell Paris. Well, at the time, they sold Paris Hilton like perfume, Justin Bieber cologne, stuff like that. A lot of
Mm,
fast food, and I really saw like firsthand. Like I think the big thing is like understanding and grasping the conflict of a religion that has so many different cultures that are part of it. And
Hmm.
like people kind of make these statements about all the billion Muslims in the world, like there's some sort of monolith. And it's like going here and seeing like them disagree and fight and wear different clothes and have different practices and speaking different languages. It was really fascinating seeing it all at once, being like, oh, right. Like these are very different people,
Yeah.
um, from very different places who like practice very differently. Like there were these Indonesian girls singing, um, while circling the Kaaba, and I remember like this Pakistani guy being like, "Shut up, shut up," and the girls are like, "Alhamdulillah," and they ignored him. Yeah, weird, weird.
Yeah.
All right, but thank you, Trey. Thank you for spending 2 hours of your Friday nights on Mecca and Medina.
No, I loved it. I loved it. This is fascinating stuff. I just love learning. And it was cool. Like, I don't know. I'm a sucker for like comparing historical accounts. Like, I don't know, you bringing up the old guy, when he visited there, and then how like it had changed since you've been. Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
something
so
different
Richard
about.
Francis Burton's account, it's a somewhat readable thing. It's online for free. I mean, it's public domain, but he has all sorts of like stories of how he was almost caught, and some people are like, this doesn't seem very likely. So like for instance, there's a scene where so he's pretending to be a an Afghan Sufi because he figures that no one knows anything about Afghans and Sufism, and so like they won't get any questions. And you know, there's a moment where he claims he goes to urinate, and he lifts his galabea and like pees standing up, and one of the kids is like, what are you doing? Because like Muslims normally squat when they pee, um and most historical scholars are like, yeah, he was bullshitting, that never fucking happened, because people fucking pee standing up all the goddamn time. What is he fucking talking about? That is not a fucking tell that you are not a Muslim. Like that's ridiculous. Like, like people pee standing up all the time. Like, he was making some statement about like, oh, because he went and he saw Muslims squatting and peeing a bunch. Maybe they do it most of the time. Maybe they do it 90% of the time. But like standing and peeing was not uncommon enough that it would be a tell that you're an infidel. And so
Hmm.
there's this like scene where he's like trying to hush this kid. He's like, "Oh, shut up," and stuff like that. So there's definitely some like lies in his story, some embellishments here and there. But then there's stuff that's like so detailed and boring that you're like, "Oh, this is factually correct." Like this is so like he starts talking about like measurements and real details on like Islam and really specific things where you're like, okay, yeah, you know. But it's an interesting read. I think you should read the and
Hmm.
Malcolm X's has an account of going to Islam as well. Or, I mean, going to Mecca as well. Um, that's an interesting read as well. So I've read both Malcolm X's and Sir Richard Francis Burton's. So
That's cool.
yeah. So that's about all. Anyway, um, the Dreams of Ghosts and Indians is of course fictionalized. I have a character that goes to Mecca and he shares some of the same experiences that I talked about this evening. So when you're reading the book Trey, you'll get to parts and be like, oh right, Preston told me about this. Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm excited. Awesome.
cool.
No, thank you for
All right.
sharing it.
Well, thank you, Trey, and we'll see you next time.